Alright, hello, it's me. I'm the Minecraft guy. I play Minecraft, I do Minecraft, I love Minecraft, and I only play Minecraft. So, as the Minecraft guy would do, I'm here to talk about Minecraft. So, specifically, I'm going to have an unpopular opinion about it, but it is objectively correct, so everyone will love me after I make this video. But to be serious, this is the hot topic. If you've seen the thumbnail or the name, you know what I'm talking about, of the Minecraft community. So, but I think it's not going to be an issue at all. And I'll discuss like my personal thoughts on it at the end because I do have some less objective reasons to believe this. But first, I'm going to go over what we know, and I think that'll be just a much more convincing manner, so to speak. You could consider this propaganda if you prefer, but I'm just trying to prove my personal belief, as you do. It's actually from my English class. It's a bad joke. I'll cut that out. But yeah, let's get into it. So to begin, let's talk about the good parts of this. Um, First off, children are going to be protected by this, and personally, I don't actually care about that, but a lot of parents would. So that's good. Doxers and other toxic people in whatever manner, just general bullies, people who are just toxic, like everywhere they go, salty bedwars players, whatever, they're gonna get removed, inevitably. They're going to get their messages reported and they're gonna get banned off Minecraft. And personally, I don't have an issue with that. I think that's overall a good thing for the community, and it's a good thing for those servers. Because it makes it a lot less fun. Honestly, a lot of the time, you're playing some game, and then someone just is constantly just salty. Even if they're winning, they're just constantly being toxic about it, and it doesn't make the game as enjoyable a lot of the time. Now, obviously, yes, there is going to be false bans, but that's kind of the gray area of what will happen here, most likely. And it comes with every game that has bans. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, because they're gonna, and moreover, they're going to keep this system, no matter what. And I'm kind of veering into a con here, but let's stay with this. They are going to implement this, no matter what. They certainly do care about the community to a degree, but this is just, they're going to do it because it's good publicity. They want it. They want good publicity. Now, I wouldn't say Minecraft has a bad one, and I don't think many people are talking about this, but it is good for them to do this. And I don't think there's going to be a vast amount of false bans. I very well could be wrong. They could have a bad staff team, but I think it'll be fine. And moving on, as long as you aren't an idiot, basically, or just a joke, it's not really an issue in the first place. If you are insulting people all the time after you, like, lose in Bed Wars or whatever, or if you're winning in Bed Wars for that matter, I don't know why Bed Wars is the only thing I could think of, I don't even play it. Yeah, I don't think you really need to be on here if you're just a toxic idiot or something. I personally certainly don't care if you get removed after that. And I'm not saying that the people who are complaining about this feature are all just toxic idiots. I'm not saying that at all. But if the odds are a majority of the people who get banned, like I said, they're going to be legitimate. They're not going to be some false, I don't think the staff team are going to be bad. If they are, I'll eat my words. But regardless, I don't think it'll be an issue for most of us, including the people who are complaining. And also, they have directly stated that context will matter for every reported message. Now, we aren't 100% certain about whether the server itself, its context will matter, but I think odds are, if you're talking about having sex, for example, on an 18+ server, or drugs or whatever, I don't think it'll matter, because the context of that makes it not an issue. Now, to be fair, it very well could still be the case, and if that is the case, that's an issue. I think it should definitely factor in the server, because if the server has a whitelist, for example, and only allows people who can verify their age or something, because those servers, I've seen them, they exist, I think that's an issue, and that should not happen. And I think odds are they'd probably be willing to do that. Because really, this is, like I said, this is for kids. This is for children and their parents to not be exposed to anything bad. And if the server has a whitelist, it just shouldn't affect it at all, in my opinion. Alright, next, there's going to be plugins, there's going to be mods that either remove the cryptographic signature that verify the message as being you, which is the only way it can be reported, or it can just, or there will be something that separates the server from the connection in the first place. There already is some mods. I haven't really looked into them directly because, like I said, I don't really think it's going to be an issue no matter what. And it's just not, it's not going to affect us even if it is poorly done. So, you know, if all else fails, the community can still fall back on that. Next, there is going to be an appeal system, and from what they've said, they are making sure everyone has access to the FAQ, community guidelines, the appeals, all of that, unlike Bedrock. So I think it's going to be fine for anyone who does get banned. They'll likely be okay overall. And next, I know this was a big worry for a lot of people. Anyone who mass reports falsely, they're gonna get punished as well. That is not allowed. So anyone with a hacked client is automatically reporting, they're definitely going to get banned themselves. And I personally think good. They're directly trying to cause harm, most likely. Theoretically, it could be protest, but I think it's still just kind of being stupid, to be honest. I think that's good. I'm glad that that's going to happen. And last and least, it's a very small pro, but most bans are going to be temporary. Unless you're accused of saying something or doing something heinous, like doxing probably would be a permanent ban. Unless you're accused of that, you're probably not gonna be in that bad of a place. Assuming you can't even get appealed in the first place, which odds are you probably will be able to. But yeah, that's all of the pros that I have, and obviously I kind of already viewed in this earlier. No system is perfect, so let's go over the flaws, because there are a few that I have. This one's kind of small, but it really isn't necessary. Like I said earlier, there wasn't really anyone wanting this. No one was complaining, at least not a large amount of people. And like I said, it is good still, but it's for their publicity. But it's just not really going to be that important in the long haul. I think it's kind of a waste of time overall. And also kind of small and expected there's going to be false bans. I already said this, but still, it is going to be an issue for many people, especially if you can't get appealed. And that's not good. It's not good if you get false banned and you can't do anything about it. Next, I personally think it's reasonable to ban people from multiplayer as a whole if they are legitimately doing something bad, if they're bullying people or threatening dogs or whatever. I think that's reasonable. However, and one of the reasons is kind of like in the guidelines, I think they said that all caps looks like shouting, and that's not very nice. That's just like, what? that was certainly the weakest. The real issue I have with the ban itself is that if you get banned and you have a Realm subscription, it does not get canceled automatically. You have to manually do it, and I don't think they even tell you unless you hover over Realms. And if you're some kid and you get banned and you have a Realm subscription, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get your dad who doesn't know how to navigate the site? It's possible. I guess I'm kind of a straw man, but it does seem like it could be an issue. Most people won't have one with it. I think most people will be able to, but it does look like intentional greediness, like intentional ignorance on Microsoft's part. And for the record, we know that it's Microsoft, it's not Mojang who pushed for this. But yeah, that's one of my that's my biggest issue pretty much. It's awful that it doesn't tell you or just doesn't do it for you automatically, especially with permanent bans. With temporaries, and maybe not, but permanent bans, that's bad. And of course, the way they handled this was bad. I don't think the system itself is that bad, and even if it is, like I said, not really going to be that much of an issue, I don't think. But the way they handled it is objectively bad. They did not communicate all that well or all that much, and I think that's really what the issue was for most people. Because, I mean, it already started with 1.19, and I could go on, and I have in private, about how people overreacted so hard for 1.19, like, oh, we need the Boat of Forest, we need the Fireflies. It's not. It's a 2-pixel mob that wouldn't have done anything, and it sounds like they're basically just putting it on the back burner until they can think of a use for it. Anyways, it's not gone entirely, and I know it kind of does seem like, oh, why did you expect this for the Boat Forest? But they never said they were adding it, to be fair. It wasn't like, oh yeah, and we're going to be adding the Boat Forest. No, they just showed it off. They showed off other things. They've shown off plenty of other things, but that doesn't make it 100% we are doing this. But yeah, I think that's what really stirred it up. And then with this, it was already in a bad place, and this made it worse, and they continued their trend of not really communicating all that well up until basically the last minute. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty bad, because like they say they care about the community, but they don't often fully communicate things at times. So yeah, that's also one of my bigger issues with this. So that's the more objective part of this, and I'm gonna go over my personal thoughts. Long story short, I don't think it's gonna matter at all. overhated for how unimportant it likely is going to be. I mean, for some, it's like the spirit behind it that they don't like, but it's not going to be some Big Brother, literally George Orwell's 1984 type situation. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I don't think it's some grab for power. I mean, it kinda is a little bit, but I think it's mostly just to protect people. Or even if you don't think it's that, it's to get rid of terrible people that we don't like. Yeah. Oh, right. The other day, someone posted a screenshot of some guy who was being extremely salty and raging on Bedwars, and they were threatening to dox my friend over it. And, that's funny. That is funny, but if this guy's serious, or was serious, I wouldn't want him having the ability to do that to anyone else. I don't want anyone to be threatened with doxing, because I think that's a federal crime, to put it simply. And it can be scary for some. I mean, I personally wouldn't really be threatened by it, but I don't want anyone who's threatening to dox people on the platform. I don't think they're gonna be contributing anything really. So that's my opinion on that. And like I said, servers are going to be able to block reports, guaranteed, in some manner. And the amount of false bans will be a minority. There's going to be a lot more successful, correct bans. There's going to be a lot of nothing happening to them, and no one's going to talk about that. Because that's how it is. You never think about the black and white often. Most people don't. Most people think that they always focus on the unfairness rather than what is legitimately good. And while to a degree, and in many areas, that's reasonable, in terms of getting banned, I think it's much more important to focus on the large majority of correct actions being done. And another reason that I think it's overhated is that, let's say Minecraft had this from the start. No one would have cared. It would not have been an issue. Like, it's basically just a VAC ban. And that's been around for ages. I don't think it would have been an issue in that hypothetical. And, I mean, to be fair, well, no, not to be fair. I think the main issue that people have, one of the big reasons, that people got so upset about this is that Java was like, oh, it's this free safe haven from all of the oppressive Microsoft tyranny, which, to be fair, it isn't even that bad. I mean, Bedrock has it kind of bad. They just kind of have a bad team, though. But yeah, Java's a safe haven, and then now we're getting a banning system as well, and so people are thinking that they're basically just, and I mean, this has happened all the time. People are basically just worried that they're just trying to turn Java into Bedrock and slowly phase it out entirely. I don't think that at all. I think that's crazy, but, people love to be persecuted, I guess. It was, like I said, it was rushed, handled a bit poorly on Mojang's side, but a lot of people say, oh, this is the end of Minecraft. Minecraft's never going to recover from this. I think that's nonsense. I think, in short, it's an IQ filter to get rid of the idiots then there will be few and far between any false bans. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll unhappily eat my words. It's not impossible that they screw this up, whether the moderation team or they block souls from being allowed to stop reports, whatever. I don't think a majority of that's going to happen. I can't say for certain on the moderation team because Bedrock's is kind of pretty poor, but I have more faith in Java as a whole than Bedrock all the time. But yeah, it isn't impossible. So it is I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. But besides all of this, all of my personal thoughts, I don't think anyone should be as mad as they are about this. The game's gonna be the same for a large majority of us, and most of the degenerates are gonna get removed from it. I didn't wanna... I know some of what I've said has been a little harshly worded, I guess, but I didn't want to come off rude, and if I did, apologies. I know many people are just worried about the future of the game, and that's reasonable to a degree. But many people are being just rude or cruel to the Mojang employees, who, I mean, it kinda is like, oh, why are you defending a giant company? Well, I'm not defending the company. The company is a company. But the employees are people. And I don't respect insulting them or bullying them or constantly asking, oh, when are you gonna fix the system? When are you gonna get rid of it, huh? It's like they are constantly, well, maybe not constantly, but they are often working to improve the game for the large majority of people. And while they do this, they're just constantly being harassed to a degree. And they don't deserve that, in my opinion. That's all I have to say on this. If this blows up or something, then I'd be happy to respond to any comments that disagree with me, or anyone in general that disagrees with me. Just don't take some hostile stance. Perfectly fine to discuss things, because I like talking about this game. It's fun to talk about, and overall I feel like people can, on this at least, people can see each other's side on this, if nothing else. So, that's all. See you on the next Minecraft Fridays. Peace.